is so cool right now. Comedy is for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on stage, a retired physician. How cool is that? Let's hear it for Louis Reznick. Come on, give a hand. Louis Reznick coming up on stage. Lou. They're not booing, they're saying Lou. All right.
All right, that was a tough act to follow. So fellow Joker-philes, how you doing so far? Hey, it's Dynamite, we're having a great time tonight. Well, my name is Reznick, I'm a retired physician, and I started my practice in 1973 in Glendale, Queens, New York, where the neighborhood was so rough that I changed the telephone area code to 911. Well, now 41 years later, I'm a comedian, and I was able to combine what I learned in medical school with what I learned in comedy school, making me a unique physician, a unique comedian rather, in that I not only tell funny jokes, but I also give you my sense of humor. I look, sound, and even smell funny. I've also grown a love of show business. Like this song, there's no business like show business, there's no business. I know. Yesterday they told me I would not go far, but today I opened, and they were right. I only live a block away from here. Okay, when I was in practice, I really saw some weird patients. Really weird. This one guy came into the office claiming to be Jesus Christ. Long hair, gown, sandals, and the receptionist said, do you have an appointment? And he said, I'm not here to see the doctor, I'm here to perform miracles, I'm Jesus Christ. So I stepped in and I said, look, this I have to see. So he goes over to the first patient, who is a nice elderly woman with terrible arthritis. And Jesus puts his hands on her knees, and she gets up and she walks like a spring chicken. He goes over to the next patient, and it's an elderly gentleman who's losing his vision. And Jesus puts his hands on his eyes, and he gets up and he can see like Superman. It's a miracle. Then I noticed there was a little problem. The next patient, Jerry, I had to call him out. I said, Jerry, you have to come with me. I have some important papers to fill out. But the receptionist said, Dr. Reznick, why don't you let Jesus have a crack at him? I said, don't you remember last week he's paid us a lot of money to fill out his disability papers? She said, so Jesus can cure him. I said, but there's nothing wrong with him.
Oh my God.
But the next patient is really a winner. This is a Hasidic rabbi. Hasidim, you see them also? All right. It's got the big hat and the yarmulke and the payas and the talis and the strings hanging down, the tzitzis. And Jesus says, how can I help you? And he says, I need help with my hearing. So Jesus puts his hands on his ears, and he goes into this prayer in Hebrew yet. And I stepped in, I said, Jesus, wait, I don't mean to question your authority, but you didn't do a prayer for these other people. How come you did it for him? He said, I couldn't help it. It was nostalgia. Reminded me of the good old days when I used to be a rabbi. All right, but the proof is in the pudding. Jesus says, can you hear now? And he said, oh no, not now. My hearing in court is not for another week. Now, Now I have to tell you about my wife. There's one thing that's important that you have to take away. A happy wife, a happy life. A nagging wife can save your life. Okay, my wife is a professional dog breeder, and she's made me very happy by breeding many cute dogs and 2 children. And I always keep a picture of my wife, my kids, and my dogs in my wallet to remind me why there's no money in there. Okay, now I told you, important thing to remember is a happy wife, a happy life. Well, not all wives are so happy. There's this one wife that used to come into the office, and every single visit she'd tell me how much she hated her husband. And she came in one day and said, I got good news for you. I said, good news, what is it? She said, my husband died. I said, come on, that's not good news. She says, do you know what I did? I said, I can't imagine. She said, I had him cremated, I took his ashes, I mixed them with marijuana, I rolled them up, and I smoked them. I said, how can you even think of a thing like that? She said, it was the only pleasure I ever got out of them. Worse than that, this other lady, she shot him. The police came to the house. She was on one end of the kitchen with a wet mop, and he was on the other end of the kitchen, dead on the floor with a bullet hole in his chest. So the police officer said, why did you shoot him? She said, I cleaned the house, and I mopped the kitchen floor clean, and the jerk steps on the wet kitchen floor. So the police officer says, wait, you shot your husband because he stepped on your wet kitchen floor? He says, yeah, he doesn't respect the hard work that I do. She says, look, this I have to call in headquarters. She calls headquarters, hello, Sarge? Yeah, this is Officer Brown, I'm at the house. Yeah, she shot her husband. He's dead, no question about it. Well, why did she shoot him? Oh, you're not going to believe this. He stepped on her wet kitchen floor after she mopped it clean. Did I arrest her? No, not yet. Why not yet? Because the floor is still wet. You've been a wonderful audience. It's been my pleasure to entertain you, and I just want to leave you with one thing. One thought. Okay, the only thing in life that is certain is death and taxes. And the only thing they can't tax you on is love and laughter. So keep loving and laughing, and God bless you all.
Lewis Reznick, give him a hand. Dr. Lewis Reznick.